This guy could be the first black governor in North Carolina history. It's in the Republican Party who are really focused.
Movement in the 1960s was, quote, crap, and that Martin Luther King was a communist.
Robinson posted the movie Black Panther was, quote, created by an agnostic Jew to pull the shekels out of your Sforza pockets.
Refer to the victims of the Parkland school shooting as spoiled little bastards.
Beyonce is satanic.
It's MLK. I know what divided the country, but I thought the one thing we could all agree on was MLK good. And by the way, you can't just hate on everyone and leave out the Asians, okay? That's racist. Trump feels about him.
He's been an unbelievable Lieutenant Governor, Mark Robinson. This is Martin Luther King on steroids, okay? Now, I said, I think you're better than Martin Luther King. I think you are Martin Luther King times 2.
Robinson is the perfect symbol of where the Republican Party is at right now, because if you want to really be successful as a Republican, you kind of have to be insane now.
Only kind of equality that is consistent with personal liberty is equality before the law.
The issue is there's no equality in the practice of execution of the law.
But however, looking at equality of opportunity as a concept, it really just doesn't tell you very much. That is, I don't have an equal opportunity to be a great boxer. I don't have the equal opportunity to be a great basketball player. And I don't have the equal opportunity to do many, many things.
How can you be SOO educated, but at the same time, have such an imbecile, childish, shallow understanding of the term equality? Nobody's hindering you from being the greatest boxer beyond your own ability.
So in America, you have a higher quality of life as a black person compared to anywhere in Africa or anywhere across the entire world. You have way lower expenses here. You have higher quality of life. You're safer here. You have a country that'll protect you. You have the right to defend yourself here. You have the right to own your own property.
Cultures given systemic support to gain land property and generational wealth versus those denied it.
Everywhere else, you can't do that. And even more segue into that, you have freedom of speech here.
Why do y'all on the right cry whenever and however? We choose to exercise that right.
No other government, including Africa, allows you to do that. You can't speak out about
no other government allows that? Who told you that? Where did you learn that?
So how can you go against the same system that allows you to thrive as black people?
Black people don't excel or even survive because the system, black people who strive for so in spite of the system.
Our entire lives, and I say our, I'm referring to black Americans, what you really have is sort of a nefarious education system that's trying to sell to you that you are a victim and that you should recognize that because of the color of your skin, you're never going to be able to go anywhere in life.
Nobody's saying that. Maybe you should listen to people instead of pushing your propaganda of what you want them to be saying. Maybe it's their experiences that might be different than yours, but are still valuable and still important, instead of just ignoring them because you have a different view.
Society, with the single motherhood rate in the black community being above 74% today.
Yeah. President Obama has not surprised you. When we talked just before the election, you used the phrase the turning point, that we may be approaching a point of no return with Barack Obama. We have the rise of the Tea Party. Did that surprise you? Does that
that did surprise me.
And how do you understand that?
Well, there have always been people out there who had those kinds of views, and they just didn't coalesce. And so that does mean that we have a chance next year of changing the direction of the country, restoring us some sanity in Washington.
So what Richard Nixon called the silent majority has found its voice?
Apparently.
Is that a fair?
Yes.
I went on Dr. Phil and I went to talk about my favorite topic, racism, or in this case, reverse racism. And lucky me, I got to sit across from two doctors. These are people discriminatory race-based policies like affirmative action. What I found to be really incredible about my sit down with these professors is the one who says that he identifies as black, even though he's clearly mixed.
You're better than this. Because race is a social construct more than a biological fact, that is what they represent. Because even though you're mixed, American system was set up to view you as black. You would face the same benefits or disadvantages. The KKK, if a racist cop stops a black person or a mixed person, they are getting the same treatment. That is why you represent
If blackness is almost synonymous with oppression, wouldn't you want to identify with privilege? I'm being is that if you are black, you are afforded certain advantages in American society because actually the majority of black kids cannot read. They can't pass literacy exams, and they ignore that. Do you understand this? It was a slave code that black Americans couldn't feel emotional about Black Lives Matter than be able to read a book.
And don't pretend that you care, because at the same time that you're saying this, you will deny and downplay the role that your party played in any of these things.
I've become so cynical about black actors. In the 90s, when I used to watch a commercial and I'd see a black person or watch a movie, I see a black person, I just thought, this person is talented. Give me Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman. They deserve to be there because they're talented, not because of the color of their skin. Now, when I see a black person on the screen, I think, okay, that was the DEI. That was diversity, equity, inclusion. They probably were just given this role. Now they got to put one gay person, one trans person, one black person.
It never crossed her mind that maybe all those white people that she saw, they got their jobs because they were white. I remember when a few of the sellouts were like, no, we got to defend Candace. She's still a sister. Don't be fooled by the color of her skin. Candace Owens is Tim Pool, Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, and Tucker Carlson.
And literally, the whole point of all these clips was to show what our issue with black conservatives in general is. Why does every black conservative, if you listen to them talking about any racial issue, always negative towards the black community and always fighting to protect the image of the white community? That is the problem. There seems to be a direct correlation with conservative and not being pro-black ever. And if I am wrong, name me that black conservative and send me an example of a comment where they were pro-black in a way of the community, not just an individual black person, or a time that a black person got killed and they didn't justify the killing being done as proper. Always. Like, give me an example of this. If I'm wrong, I don't mind being wrong. Alright? This is King's Court Network, Politricks of Life. Also, don't forget to like and share the link.